Daniel Janz is a developer at Circles.land. So take it away, Daniel.
Hello, I'm from the Circles.land team. I'm a developer, and we built an alternative client for Circles, which we also call Circles.land. So a quick recap, what is Circles? In Circles, everybody got their own ERC20 token, and users basically can mint their own UBI. Everybody can mint 24 circles a day, which equals 1 circles is 1 hour of your lifetime, basically, and that's a UBI. Since everybody can sign up at Circles, even bots, we need a protection mechanism. Circles decided to build on top of a web of trust, and that means that you can only send your circles to people who previously trusted you. So this is a little bit unpractical if you're, for instance, visiting a different city where you don't know anybody. So there's a second mechanism, which is called a transitive transfer, and it works like the following. You want to transact with a stranger who you don't know already, but there will be some kind of trust path in between, because in the end everybody knows each other via 5 edges or something like that. So Circles will calculate a trust path for you, and your untrusted circles will be automatically converted into circles that the target of the transaction will trust. There are 2 different types of accounts. There are personal accounts, which can receive UBI and have their own tokens. And there are organization accounts which only participate in the trust network so that they can receive transitive payments. You can see it in the diagram below. There are already Circles clients out there. Why did we build a new Circles client in the first place? First, it's always good to have an alternative, maybe just because of preference, but also it adds to the resilience of the system as a whole. So if one client is down or gets censored, you will have another backup client where you can go to. And the main reason for us was when we used Circles for ourselves for the first time, we found it a little bit difficult to understand from the perspective of a casual user. And Circles is all about wide adoption. It will only work if a lot of people start to use Circles. So we thought, hey, there are some things we can make better. So what exactly did we find hard to use? In the current implementation, it's like if you want to start using Circles, you have to find 3 people who are already members of Circles. This is because Circles is a blockchain application, and on each blockchain you have to pay small transaction fees to get your transaction processed. Since Circles targets non-tech-savvy users, basically, there needs to be a mechanism that pays these transaction fees for you, because usually Circles users don't own crypto. So how this is currently done is there's a software component called the relayer, where you send your transactions to, and the relayer pays these transactions for you so that they can get executed. Problem with that is that malicious people could use this relayer to just execute their own transactions, which have nothing to do with Circles, so there needs to be a protection mechanism. And the original team decided it's sufficient or cool to have just 3 previous trusts to prove that you're embedded in this network, and once you're proof that you're embedded, you can use the relayer. But the problem with that is, for instance, I'm from Munich, and Circles started out in Berlin. When I first used Circles, I didn't know anyone in the Circles network. So basically, I was blocked from accessing Circles. And how people currently overcome this is they organize in, for instance, Telegram groups, and just ask, hey, can please any people trust me? Which really defeats the whole purpose of the trust network in the first place, because people start to trust each other randomly, and in the end, they don't really know this person. So another problem with the current implementation is that non-tech savvy or non-crypto savvy users need to handle the passphrase for the first time in their lives, or a seed phrase. This is just a 24-word long sentence, and we made the observation that most of the people already lost access to their accounts because they lost the seed phrase in the first months of usage, some of them even in the first weeks. Another thing we observed is that people usually, when they get the seed phrase displayed for the first time, they just take a screenshot on their mobile phones, and after that, their seed phrase will be in their picture gallery, accessible for everybody who gets their hands on the device. Also, it's not very nice if you need to recover from the seed phrase. You have to type it in word by word. It's not a good user experience at all. And the last problem was that even if you got a high balance like 100 circles in your account, the default trust connections made by the current clients limits you to 50% of the capacity. So people started asking, hey, okay, I got 100 circles, why I can only spend amount X, 25 or whatnot? And it's hard to explain to them why this is the case. So there are some other implications which are hard to understand in the trust network. When you trust the wrong people, just like with every decision in your life, it can cost you basically money or time. So in Circles, the case is when you, for instance, see the diagram, when fake Alice is a bot in this case, for instance, and Alice was tricked into trusting fake Alice. Bob can be a vendor of any kind, so he sells goods, and fake Alice wants to get their hands on these goods, but the bot and only has fake circles. So the trust network in Circles will automatically exchange your circles, which are untrusted by Bob, for trusted circles. So in this case, fake Alice token will be converted automatically into Alice's token, and then they will be sent to Bob, and Alice is stuck with fake Alice's token, and basically Alice got robbed. So what do we do different to circumvent some of these problems? First, we wanted to get rid of the 3 initial trusts because, yeah, people trust each other randomly, which is not good. Then second, we wanted to get rid of the seed phrase. And finally, we wanted to relax the liquidity limits. How did we get rid of the 3 initial trusts? We replaced the relayer and basically said every user should pay for their own transactions. So since the users don't have crypto exposure, we thought of a way where we can give a new user, who is already registered at the system, an invitation code, which they can pass along to new users. Once it's a QR code, or you can send it via email or WhatsApp or whatnot. Whenever a user redeems this invitation code, we will provide them with a little amount of XDAI, which is the blockchain's native currency, so that they can pay all the setup fees by themselves and can pay all their transactions. Also, this lets the one who invites new users know that these people signed up, and this can act as a starting point to establish your own trust network. Second thing, how to get rid of the seed phrase. During our research, we found a very nice project called Web3Hours. Web3Hours is a non-custodial key management solution, which is built around the very well-known and common OAuth logins, like social logins. You can see it here in the screenshot. It's, for instance, we currently support Google logins, Apple logins, and GitHub. And what it does is it derives a new private key from your OAuth login, and it gives you a very familiar experience. Our general approach to the security there is that we want to start as easy as possible, get the users on board, and then after some time, when the stakes get higher, the people collected already a lot of UBI, then we ask them, hey, don't you want to add a second factor? Please make a backup of your seed phrase. But then the users are already hooked, and we got their attention. So it's much more likely that they really do the right steps then, instead of when we just overwhelm them directly from the beginning. So the third point is a little more complicated, how to relax the liquidity bottleneck. The first thing we do is whenever you establish a new trust relation, we set the default trust limit to 100% instead of 50. But that's not really enough, because if your trust network is still very small and you're a very new user, don't know many people in the Circles network, it can still happen that you get stuck and cannot pay somebody because your trust connections are just not sufficient. So we thought maybe we can involve a third-party trustee who everybody agrees on that people who are trusted by this trustee are by default trustworthy. And I say, oh, I'm only interested in, is the person trusted by this trustee? If yes, I also trust this person. So in the Circles ecosystem, because it's a UBI and the UBI is tied to a person in essence, for us it's most important that we have real humans in front of us and don't deal with bots. So what we decided to do is we implemented with our partners from Humanoid a face ident procedure, and we only store a hash or kind of checksum. So we don't store your pictures of your face or other biometric identifiers. We are only really interested in that you're a real, unique human person. So once you completed the face ident, basically it's making a short selfie video, you get this little check mark, like you know it from Twitter, and it says, hey, you're a verified user, and everybody who sees it can make sure that you're a real person and can, in this way, trust you. Okay. The talk is called Circles.land, a holistic approach or holistic Circles client. What do we mean with holistic? Once you get on board with Circles, a lot of people ask, okay, now I got Circles, but where can I spend them? And it's really not so easy. You can Google where can I spend my Circles, but it's most likely that you in the current state don't find too much. So we thought we should integrate a marketplace where people can offer stuff. And also, Circles is a network. It's not only a cryptocurrency. So people in the network want to communicate with each other. And lastly, Circles doesn't exist in a vacuum. It exists in a messy world, and we all need still fiat money. We want to go there, that everybody in the end can use Circles in their everyday life. But if I want to provide products for Circles, it's very reasonable that I have some costs like rent or production material or something like that. So the first thing we did is we added a marketplace to the application. So everybody who signed up can create a new shop. And in the shop, you can have different ways of displaying your products. It's just like a regular web shop in the sense. And you can add your products. In the second picture, you see the user perspective. You just get a list of the different shops, can scroll through them, and discover the products the people are offering. In the third slide, you see a detail page with the add to cart button and two small notes that you can pick flower either up or you can get it delivered. And in the third picture, you see the cart and the checkout. So we implemented a unified cart. You can put products from different shops into one cart, and in the end have only one checkout flow, which automatically pays all the different shop owners where you bought your stuff. After payment, you will get a proper invoice with VAT and everything which is legally required. And yeah, we have added some more features, like for the shop owner, they can have an inventory and stuff like that. Additionally, we made the observation that when you use Circles for the first time, you maybe might make some connections, send some money somewhere, but once you did that, you close the app, and it's very likely that you never look it up again. So even if somebody trusts you and you expand your network, you will never know about it. Only if you open the app again and actively look for it, you will see that you got new trust connections. So we implemented email notifications and a unified inbox. You can see it in the left bottom corner, the small red dots. You see the notifications there. And when you click there, you just see some small cards where just put what's happening. You also get these per email. Yeah, so this encourages you, whenever you get an email, to go back into the app and see what's happening and maybe interact a little bit more. The next thing is people want to communicate out of the necessity for the shop that you might have questions about a product or something like that. We implemented a chat, and then it evolved a little bit to a general kind of notification center. So you see we have the different events like Alice trusted you, you trusted Alice back, then some chat messages and all your transfers. Everything will be displayed neatly in a list. On the rightmost picture, you see even your shop purchases and stuff like that are aggregated in the chat so that you have a history of all your actions and transactions you did in the Circles client. The Circles ecosystem is growing and cool like that, but the problem with that is that basically what you got is an address. So we associated profiles to that address, but these profiles are currently not portable. So whenever there is a new application, they can just display your crypto address, but nobody knows who is this really. So the next steps which we want to take is to make the profiles portable so that other applications can use the same profiles as we do and have the same profile picture, the same offers, the same name, and yeah, just a directory that you can find the users again in different apps. And yeah. So since Circles doesn't exist in an isolated world, and we are not at that state currently that we can use Circles in our everyday life to pay for rent and stuff like that, we will also need a way to incorporate fiat currencies. So for instance, when you're a shop owner and you want to sell your goods for Circles, this is currently not really sustainable because you have to pay for your production goods, for your electricity bills, for your rent. So what we are trying to do is we want to integrate classic payment solutions as well in our shop, so that shop owners can say, okay, I want 50% of the price in Circles and another 50% in US dollar or euros just to pay for my fixed cost. And this is one of the next steps we take, just integrating classic payment solutions like PayPal or whatnot. And the last is, since we are on an invite-based system, somebody has to pay the crypto amount to actually fund these invitations. Currently, we are subsidizing this, but we cannot do this forever. So we will need a way to incentivize people that they actually go on an exchange, buy XDAI or another cryptocurrency, and provide that for others for the invitations. We want to do that by issuing an own token, which is then airdropped to users who bought invitations to enable other people to come on board. We call these people seed bombers, and yeah, they just should get some reward for that. Okay, I think that's it already. Maybe I'm a bit too quick. If you want to join Circles.land, just scan the QR code. It's associated with an invitation so that you can sign up right away. And thank you very much. Any questions?
Thanks. Can you elaborate a little bit on the tokenomics? Is there like inflation or?
Okay, for Circles in general?
Yeah, like, because I was thinking like, is these new tokens, are they just issued or is there a limited cap or?
No, so that's why we have this trust network. So there is a built-in demurrage or inflation, just how you want to put it, of 7% a year. And basically, everybody deploys their own ERC20 contracts in the blockchain. So you can just mint 24 of these tokens every day. So that's the limit. But in principle, you can have, just as I said, bots signing up, so there is no total upper cap of Circles in general. but every person gets their own ERC20 token. That is why you need the trust network and the transitive payments here from the beginning. So in this case, Dave got their own tokens, Carol got their own tokens, Alice and Bob, they all get their own ERC20 tokens, and you need the Pathfinder, which will be in the next talk, to automatically exchange them between the different users.
Thanks.
There was one more question in the back.
Hi, yeah, just a small question about the Face ID thing. It's like a one-time verification, and I was wondering, how do you do anything to prevent people from using someone else's face so they can't register later or anything like that?
Okay, a good question. So currently we are partnering with Humanoid, so we use their face ident procedure. And it includes a liveliness check. So it's not just a photograph that would suit, but you have to take a selfie video. If you manage to do that while somebody sleeps, for instance, but people sleep with closed eyes, so that is covered in that sense, it's very unlikely that you can do it. Maybe you can force somebody to do it, but yeah, that's very, very unlikely, so to say. Does that answer your question? Oh, okay, thanks.
Just upload somebody else's picture anyway. You just upload someone's picture from the internet or from Facebook.
Oh, it's you have to create a video actually, and it does a liveliness check. So it checks if your eyes are blinking, and it's a very elaborate procedure where the curvature of the lens is taken into account, and you have to move the phone away and to your face so that they will really get a 3D image of your face. And it seems to be a very good procedure. Maybe it's hackable like everything, but it should be very hard to do.
How do you comply with GDPR with this kind of data? This is such sensitive data.
Very good question. I think there are still issues to resolve, to be honest. So we are currently in a testing state.
Forget I asked that. One more question.
Yeah, thanks for your insights. Also on this Face ID, I have some questions. So I don't see any GDPR issues because there's a consent and also the data is not stored, as you said. But is there a double check if the person is already in the database? And if not, how can you prevent from someone identifying several times for different account?
Yeah, there's a check. So that's the whole point of the thing. So you cannot create two accounts with the same face. So it will always be associated to the original account. There are still some issues. What if you lose access to your account and want to create a new account? So there are still some unsolved challenges. But as we are currently in a testing phase, we are for now okay with that and working on solutions for these problems.
Sounds good. On that note, thank you so much, Daniel.
Cool. Thank you.